Formerly Volvo's performance division, Polestar has just revealed its Macan EV fighter, the Polestar 4. I can't wait to share all the details about this super fast, little low-slung crossover thing without a rear window. We'll go over all the details of this press release here shortly. There's a lot in here, but we're actually going to go over the design first, break down the design, then we'll talk about performance and other like more tangible metrics. Polestar's designs in general are pretty good. The Polestar 2 is very Volvo looking. This is taken a step away, given it has a more unique identity, like the Polestar 3. The Polestar 3 will be available within the next year or so here in the United States. First batches will be of the model from China, and then I think production starts here in 2024 for the Polestar 3. Now, Polestar 4, I don't know if they have any plans of making this cute crossover, well, handsome, aggressive, futuristic crossover. Let me know. Is it cute? Is it fast looking? I think it looks kind of cute from the side. But anyways, it won't be built here in America. It'll only be built in China as far as I know. Now that could change over time, but it will never qualify for any EV tax credit. It's supposed to start around $60,000. This is equipped with the performance wheels. The base wheels are 20-inch wheels. Then you can upgrade to 21s. These look to be the massive 22s, and this is very Polestar of them with this kind of metallic mustard color that you see not only in the brake calipers, but you'll see probably on the inside here in a little bit. This is the first time actually me looking at these images, and I just know the buzz all around the internet right now is no rear window. There will actually be a rear view mirror inside, and that rear view mirror cannot look out of the back. It can only be used to look at the people in the back or your kids in the back. But you flip the little switch on it just like any other digital rearview mirror. I actually have two in the driveway right now, the RX 500H with the digital rearview mirror, and we also have the Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy with the digital rearview mirror. And not all digital rearview mirrors are created equally. The one in the Lexus is better than the one in the Hyundai. Well, go figure, right? If that thing fails in this car, you're just going to be looking at solid plastic or metal or whatever is going on here. Now, your hatch is also consisting of that lack of window, and you also have the camera right here. I sure to God hope, and I didn't see it in the press release, but sure to God hope that there is a little nozzle here to clean that rear camera. Otherwise, you could be flying blind in winter months, or if it gets real dirty. What do you guys think of the Polestar logo kind of incognito here on the back? Quite digging it. I still can't get over the Polestar name for multiple reasons, but you know, the more I see it, the more I get used to it, and it is what it is. Very simple light bar on the back, but really the most striking thing from the rear is absolutely the lack of a rear window. They also have glass. Ooh, that looks pretty cool, all blacked out. I mean, that's something you can't do with a rear window. I guess technically if you have a black on black with a really dark rear window, which is illegal in most places, but like I think it looks pretty cool. Anyways, the top glass goes all the way back behind the passenger's head, so you have lots of, I guess, visibility to the clouds above or the stars above, depending on the time of day or night. And look at this color. Ooh, I am liking this champagne for the campaign. It doesn't go well with the mustard calipers, but I do like this color. And also the windows are frameless like a coupe. So when you open the door, this bezel doesn't go with the door window. It stays in place. And man, this rear roof line is looking really good. A little camera here out on the side, kind of like a Tesla, for example. And what do you think of this decal? I think it kind of cheapens the vehicle, but it's like, it's literally carrying around like I have big D energy saying, oh, I have over 100 kilowatt hour battery. Oh, I also have 400 kilowatts of power, which is over 500 horsepower, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So it's kind of just like their version of an SRT badge, but a little bit more flying under the radar, because especially here in America, people don't know kilowatts. They know horsepowers, and some people don't even know that. Do you like the bisecting headlights? I think they are stunning, very futuristic, and I love the minimal design. I'm just a sucker for Polestar and Volvo designs in general. I think we have a few more. I really want to get on the interior. They say that this on the new Spa platform, I think that's what it is, from Geely. Yes, Geely, the Chinese owner of Polestar. of Volvo and Lynx & Co., a few other big manufacturers. I think the newest one is Zeekr from them, but that's a Chinese kind of luxury performance brand. And Polestar will probably share a lot of that technology, but be on the more international scene. All right, obviously this is a dual motor, but this platform is supposed to be far more recyclable, and that's what I really appreciate about Volvo as well as Polestar with their platforms and their battery technology and their packaging and everything is designed from the ground up to be easily recyclable and renewable. Let's see here. Enough of the lights. Let's get on the inside. This is a 15-inch screen and very minimal on the inside, as we would expect from a Swedish design overall. I almost said Swedish automaker, but it's built in China, as we know. But it started in Sweden, and its roots are Swedish, and its philosophy is Swedish. Anyways, fabric here on the door, and gosh, what was it? The Polestar 3 that has lights underneath the fabric as well. So I love seeing all the little dots, the intricacies as well. The steering wheel looks fantastic, but it looks like it's all touch capacitive, which is not my favorite cup of tea. I like how they don't have mega screen here that just kind of flows across the dash, because this screen is closer to the driver and the passenger, allowing for easier access to the controls, your climate control, as well as everything else on the infotainment screen. Google built-in is here, which is no surprise. It's already built in all of the Volvo and Polestar products. Here is your drive your drive selection. And for some reason, I just remembered that the front motor on the dual motor setup is a disconnect system for better efficiency. So that's good to see. Kind of unrelated, but also here's your rear view mirror that is only for rear view mirroring of passengers. And then it also turns into that digital camera for looking out the back. All right, a better look at the seat here. Man, this looks really cool here with this very thin. It kind of reminds me of the Lincoln Navigator that I had recently that had really futuristic thin seats. We look to have some sort of the same sort of design or at least philosophy here, but this looks far better quality than the Lincoln seats. And then we have those mustard seat belts. As you guys know, with the Prius, I'm upset that we don't get the mustard Prius here in the United States. So I take any mustard I can get on any other manufacturer. So I'm really digging it. All right. And then we have a very simple play pause knob that we see in Volvos and Polestars. Typically, like the XC90 that I had, it's up here with a few other controls like front and rear defrost, for example. Maybe even your camera button was up here as well. But now your camera button is integrated here into the touchscreen, as well as a bunch of other things, right? Now, even though these buttons are probably customizable, we actually have some fixed areas here that don't look to change, which is good. You want to have the most important, and when it comes to safety as well, you want to have predictability of where your cruise control is, for example, over here, and your pages and menus buttons over here, as well as your Google Interact button, your voice controls. But there's a little nipple on each side. That's the best way for me to say that are probably touch sensitive as well. You can swipe on those, rub those, rub them up and down to access and manipulate the screen behind you. All right, mustard seatbelts on the back as well. We also have this little screen back here for climate control, and the rear, you have heated rear seats back there. And I've just saw in the calligraphy Palisade that I have in the driveway, there's third row heated seats, which is a bit insane. Our kids would never be able to use them until like a decade from now. So anyways, we have a fold down console here that looks to be a pass through as well. And it looks really high quality. And that's the thing with the Polestar 2. In pictures, it looks great, but the quality, the build quality just wasn't there. With my example, I was really disappointed. Like the hood was halfway open because it has two hood latches, and it didn't tell me that the hood was halfway open because it only has sensor on one of the hood latches. I got sliced open with the Polestar 2's seats because like the upholstery was coming off the frame of the seat, and I tried to put it back, and I got just absolutely sliced open. My finger was bleeding. I don't think I got any in the car, but yeah, there's other things in the hatch area that was very low quality as well. But I have high hopes is that it'll continue to get better, even though they're built in China. But I have to test it to be able to make sure that the build quality is there. All right, on the left is the Polestar 3, I would assume. Yes, here it is. I haven't seen it in person yet, but this is still 2 rows. This is going to be more of like a Highlander size, or maybe like a Lexus RX is probably the best way, as since I have the RX fresh in my garage right now. It's fresh in the memory. And this would be something like a Lexus NX size or a Porsche Macan size, the Polestar 4. Let me know which design you are enjoying more than the other. From the side profile, I'd be happy with either. Some things we didn't see on the interior would be the 12-speaker 1400 watt Harman Kardon setup. And you also have 2 headrest speakers attached to each front seat with the optional Napa pack. That's cool, raising the speaker total to 16. I don't know what the base system is, but the optional system is the 12 speaker. Then the additional option is a 16 speaker Harman Kardon. Also, you're going to have over-the-air updates, which is great to see here. I'm not going to get into safety. This does not have LiDAR like the Polestar 3, and that should help keep costs down. We're expecting prices to start around $60,000. Even if, I mean, that's a bit high even for the rear-wheel drive model. I know the design is stunning, but we have a bomb-ass spreadsheet here of all the information of the Polestar 4. So let's get into it. You have an option of rear-wheel drive single motor or, of course, dual motor all-wheel drive. And there's that single-speed disconnect clutch for the front wheel or the front motor up front. I appreciate that. Here's the platform SEA, and we also have a unibody steel unibody setup. The dual motor has 544 horsepower and the single motor has 272 horsepower. So the dual motor setup is pretty much the same sort of acceleration and speed that we probably see in the Kia EV6 GT, but this is more of like a luxury version of the Kia EV6 GT. Torque is over 500 pound-feet of torque on the dual motor. Now, I don't have information here on the Polestar tuned or the performance pack. We saw images of the performance pack, but I don't know if that gives you more power or not. So stay tuned. I'd love to update you guys on that. Top speed is only 124 miles an hour. That's the thing with EVs. Top speeds are limited on them. I'm sure for safety reasons would be my guess, and maybe for efficiency reasons as well, and maybe longevity reasons. I'm sure there's a ton of reasons. If you guys know down below why EVs are limited to much lower mile per hour speeds on average, let me know. Yeah, you would hit 124 miles an hour really quick with 544 horsepower. So the single motor is rear-wheel drive, and you got to remember the Polestar 2 came out with a single motor, and that was front-wheel drive. But this last model year, I think now going to 2023, it is rear-wheel drive single motor. So that's great to see. All right, 272 horsepower, which is half of the horsepower that we have right here. So it's the same motor front and rear. Also half the amount of torque, so 253 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 67 seconds or somewhere around there, because this is 0 to 100 kilometers per hour for the single motor, and for the dual motor somewhere around 3.5 seconds. I just did 0 to 60s on the Genesis GV70 with nearly 500 horsepower, and it did a 3.8 second, and that is not counting the 1 foot rollout. So it's probably closer to maybe 4 flat if you want to do the rollout end of things. But let's look at range. Okay, well, let's not look at WLTP, but let's look at the EPA for most of you guys watching. The dual motor is still pretty efficient here, 270 miles for a lot of horsepower. That's the thing. The EV6 GT, with all that horsepower, the efficiency goes down to like the 220s, if I remember right. So here you can have your cake and eat it too, assuming it doesn't cost a whole lot more than the EV6 GT. All right, but the single motor should be able to get you 300 miles of range of coefficient of drag of 0.27 if we round up. It's still in the 400 volt lithium ion setup. We're really waiting for higher voltages. You're probably gonna have to wait for the Polestar 5. The Polestar 6 is a coupe convertible, which is gonna be stupid fast, and the Polestar 5 is the beautiful sedan, which should have a higher, it's on a new platform, so it should have a higher voltage system in that as well. CATL is providing the batteries, the largest manufacturer batteries in the world. The nominal usage of the battery is 102 kilowatts, but what you can use out of it is 94 kilowatt hours. And let's see, AC fast charging is 22 kilowatts, which is really high for AC fast charging. And DC fast charging is, I wouldn't say industry leading by any means, because we know Kia, Hyundai, the eGMP platform can do 350 kilowatts. This is at 200, and it all just depends on average charge rate. So 200 kilowatts is pretty good, I would say, out there in the market right now. It can charge 5 to 80% in 32 minutes at the 200 peak rate. Looking at the dimensions here, the Ioniq 5 is a good basis, but this is the same wheelbase as Ioniq 5. It's just a little bit lower, wider, and longer. Okay, so a little bit more performance minded compared to an Ioniq 5, for example. No surprise with an EV, curb weight is quite high here. The rear wheel drive model is over 4,900 pounds and the dual motor is nearly 5,200 pounds. Weight distribution is 50-50. That's hard to believe for all specs because the rear wheel drive doesn't have an additional motor up front, but it's great to see that pretty even weight distribution there. You can tow up to around 4,500 pounds, which is pretty good on the dual motor, and about 3,000 pounds. But we know towing an EV is, if you have to travel long distances, is not ideal. So the standard tires on the 20 inches are a couple different Pirelli options, but the performance packs, luckily they don't put all season tires on the performance pack. I'm grateful for that. Here are the standard brakes. You know, no surprise, you have smaller discs on the front and the rear, and I would assume these are dual piston up front and single piston in the rear for the standard one. When the Brimbos, of course, are a big upgrade for you guys there. Also, the single motor does not come with active dampers or adaptive dampers, so we'll have more information with optional equipment in the launch of 2024. And going over to Clean Technica, they're expecting a full-scale launch in early 2024 for North America. But I'll see you guys down below on the Polestar 4. Or would you be interested in a Chinese-built EV? Or would you prefer to be built in Gothenburg, Sweden, where a lot of Volvos are made, for example, or even in Belgium, where a lot of Volvos are made as well? I'd like for it to be built here in North America alongside the Polestar 3. That would be ideal because I think there would be a big market for this over, let's say, the Polestar 3. It'll cost less. People don't need that LiDAR technology. It's going to be faster. So, and I think the design overall is just insane. I think it's beautiful. I'm not a big fan of coupe crossovers, but, you know, here's the thing. Can you live also without having a rear window, only using a backup camera? I already live without a rear window in my minivan because of the headrests of my children's car seats and the DVD player that takes up most of my rear window visibility. So it wouldn't bother me. Actually, I can't believe I'm saying that, but I know it would bother the majority of you guys out there. But I'll see you guys down below. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Hit the like button. I would appreciate that. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay tuned for more industry auto news here on the channel. Peace out.